Happy Halloween, poetry lovers. I'm Rob Lusher, your Phoenix Prairie art brother, here to introduce today's reader in our Poetry for the Unprecedented series. Maria Nazos, who lives in Lincoln, is a poet, translator, and memoirist whose work has received the American Academy of Poets Award. She earned her MFA in writing from Sarah Lawrence College and her PhD in English from UNL, where she served for 3 years as Ted Kuzer's editorial assistant for the nationally syndicated American Life and Poetry column. Maria is the author of 2 collections of poetry, Still Life and A Hymn That Meanders, and her work has been anthologized in What Saves Us, Poems of Empathy and Outrage in the Age of Trump, and Nasty Woman, an unapologetic anthology of subversive verse. A Pushcart nominee, her award-winning poetry and translations have been published in The New Yorker, Tri-Quarterly, North American Review, and Southern Humanities Review, as well as numerous other periodicals. Her poems are polished, vibrant, and passionate, full of insight about what makes us human and humane. All yours, Maria. Welcome back.
Hey, good evening. Thank you so much to the Prairie Arts Brothers. You guys are awesome for putting on this reading. I am definitely, along with my fellow poets, honored to be reading during these, as you've called this series, unprecedented times. It is my sincere hope that in 6 days we can say unprecedented with the word president as it applies to Trump. Please get out and vote. I don't know when this video will air, but if it does so before the election day, if you've not done so already, please get out and vote. Hashtag Biden 2020. I'm gonna jump right in. I've been writing a lot of political poems given this current climate. So I'm going to start off with one that I wrote about all the fear and the hype concerning the riots, and how people were posting a lot of pictures of them with their police officer friends on Facebook, which I thought was rhetorically really weird and inappropriate. This poem is titled, "The Statute of Limitations Speaks to the Omaha Chief of Police," and it's a sestina. Poor police, take rioters and pin them down. Poor penguin, poor piggy, rooting in a stiff, white, starched collar. Poor stores, windows bashed to glass, the end of ATMs and jewelry pinched. I back the badge, my glittering North Star. It shines high above the gray Great Plains. Make America great. Make it right with God. Good Lord, here's the thing, my soul doesn't need saving. Still, I lord over you, my savior. You wear blue. The world is good, poor until proven innocent. Do you hear me? The Great Plains, Nebraska, we're waiting with open arms in starched schoolgirl uniforms. I polish my eyes until they glitter like pennies, a boat on fire. Hi, hello, this is the end. The world is flat when we reach the end, a high-end note as we float on calm waters. The world is flat, the Lord is waiting for us to sail off the side, holding his glittering chandelier. Look, his earlobes glitter with the pores, snatched, hard-won gems. See, this is a place of starches among vegetables, grow roots so deep in the Great Plains, they're thick as chains. Don't you dare call me plain Jane. Pierce my nipple, rub body glitter on my boobs. The 90s ended, I see color, still I rise early, iron your shirts, stiff with starch, steamed in hot holy water. I pray to my blue-eyed Lord, call me black and white, my olive ass. I'm a whippoorwill's shrill crescendo, a magpie hoarding your knocked off glittering gold. We're stained in black folks' blood. Corn-fed, cornstarch can clean up our mess. Your aviators block out the glittering souls in your rear view, and I wait, oh Lord, do I wait, Lord, for mine to shine. Why did you put me here? The Great Plains are so kind, so blind to their hate. They live on the high end of a flat world. The heartland sheets tugged so tight. Pour me a drink, officer. Rise and lie beneath the weight of a starched blue sky. Potato, root through the dirt. A glittering truffle waits to be unearthed. You're my keeper, my lord of misfit toys. The devil wears blue jeans, has blue eyes. I'm plain Greek yogurt. I've walked a straight line, but reached the end of my tiny tightrope. I've tried and tried to pinch my poor nose, but I smell bacon. You, your fellow warlords, starch and pork. Your heart's poor and hungry. You bargain for a glittering toy badge, so plain, so free. You won't outshine me. I am your end. All right, so we'll switch up the tempo. I love the pantoum for its sense of obsession, and I'm gonna read this one titled Anniversary. And again, we sit down to another year and join hands, clumsily accepting the fact we only have each other to love, ourselves to fear, and yet it's love that keeps us coming back. Let's hold hands, clumsily accept these facts, that we're fever, sober, in love and in trouble. Still, it's love that keeps us coming back. So, for a long, sweet second, we ignore the rubble. Sometimes fever, sober, in love and troubled. Still, we show up to this table and try again. And for this long, sweet second, look past this rubble and watch our walls fall to let each other in. Show up to the table, we stumble and try again. As long as we're alive, being human is the problem. So let's watch our walls fall and let each other in. Look beyond our crumbling faces of sweet, slow ruin. So long as we're alive, humans are a problem. Our house, empty, clean, with many rooms. Look at my crumbling face, its sweet, slow ruin. Call it an altar, an offering, a tomb. Like this house, another worn but intact room, this place of collapse, a sweet religion. Call it an altar, an offering, or a tomb. Forgiveness is the beauty of being human. This home, whose walls are sweet, religion. Let's plaster over promises in old pinholes. Forgiveness, the beauty of beaten down humans in a home whose walls still slowly erode. Still, we've plastered over old punch holes and sit down again to yet another year in a world whose walls slowly erode, with only each other to love, ourselves to fear. This one, my husband who's taping can probably relate to. For some reason this happens a lot around here to me. It's entitled Self-Portrait as a Clogged Toilet. How long have you wanted this? Wild, wet, rat girl hunkered at the bottom of your self-made sewer. Now the tide flows over your great white goblet. You should clink it with another giant glass. Here's to normal people problems you've bent your head in prayer for before at that same pale bowl after drinking too much yellowtail, because whatever half-mad man you loved sank deeper into his own drink, went fishing with a younger girl, or stained your door with his manic shadow. Some days you have to praise the simple outpour of your own shit. Here's to skid-marked years you soiled your reputation. A tired angel held back your hair, patient as glass, only for you to cough and plunge into another older man's arms. Whatever weary force turned back clean blood tests, whatever unnameable thing expelled bad choices from your body must be knelt before like a porcelain altar. Now, you watch the bowl erupt what you thought you left behind on the tiled floor. Maybe this is God's giant phone. Those years you called and just heard the ringing of your hungover, off-the-hook head. Perhaps there was always an answer. Maybe not the one you wanted, but maybe the one you needed, telling you, don't cry over spilled crap. Telling you, rise and scrub up your human mess. Now, sewage floods your floor. Your cup is running over. You wade out into the dirty waters of what you'd sworn you'd left behind forever. That part of you that rises to the top, for which your love overflows so high, you don't ever want to hold back. So we have a special visitor. This is Olive, who is sitting on my lap. My husband really loves her. And that was sarcastic. Okay. Here is another Sestina. This one is entitled Smoke Speaks, after the race riot. As I look down at a city of flaming violence, I turn the blue-black sky to ash, then bitter white. I wonder, what do you call a sponge that scrubs away a black body's blood? What's the meaning of a life that mattered, taken only for your gross rebut? All lives matter. I'm here to take you out with ghosted fingers. I'm here to gently lift you out of your body and look down on a world you call violent. Say not the answer. Say I'm just dust. But you've grossly underestimated me. Don't you see? I'm whiteness turned gray, sending flares from broken windows. Mean doesn't begin to describe me. In my gray scrubs, I rise from dumpsters, burst out of stores, a scrappy scrub. I'm the last one to leave. It's past last call. I'm out past curfew. Next time maybe you'll say what it is you mean. You fear a rioter's burning brick. Fire, black violence isn't the answer, you say. Your stiff, silent whiteness, a space I'll fill with gray ghosts, whatever your gross, adjusted income. I will drift through windows of gross injustices, swirl through cars. You want floors scrubbed clean? I'll hover in your empty rooms, your white walls sullied as a reminder. Your city's gone up and out in ash. Don't you see? You'll remember me after violence. Your petty kindness, your silence, that's the meanest thing you can say. Give me you're tired, you're grossly overlooked. Try to snuff me out. A lover tried to scrub me away. I set off his alarms. He snapped on his white gloves. Before I turned to mist, his hands reached out to snuff me in blankets. Call it domestic violence, but I hung in his lungs for years. Call me stubborn, call me mean, call me a shadow, a wisp, not worth my weight, but I mean business when I get hot. I learned to burn before gross motor skills. You can open windows, but unlike violence, I linger in our air. You wish you could huff or scrub our history clean. You want to blow me up and out like a brief candle, but you're so small, a tiny white moth. You can't put me out. You're too engrossed with my white, bright glow. I smolder with a meaning you can't scrub away. Cough Breathe in my violence. So for a while there, I began writing a lot of persona poems, and that was another really awesome way to kind of discharge my frustration. And this one is a tipsy Statue of Liberty. This poem is entitled "The Statue of Liberty Walks into a Bar." Bartender, put me back on the shelf. Nestle me within those tiny nips of gin. I feel myself growing smaller as we speak. I'm yesterday's news, a pocket-sized souvenir lost within other headlines, a handheld token in a big woman's body. I'm waving bye-bye with my white handkerchief without a wet eye to dry. I've heard what you and your boys say. Hear this. My pussy is a shoebox, locked up like Fort Knox. Play that country song on the jukebox about a girl on death row with nowhere to go. You can do anything, said grown-ass men when I grew mountains for breasts. Tonight I don't need a Ouija board. The future is clear. This is one haunted ass place. Still I'm staying until you shove me out. Back home my walls nail scratched, bedpost carved with so many notches. They're whittled down to toothpicks. I contain starving multitudes, and yet I keep giving back. My crown droops so low, I can barely see you. See, maybe it's better this way. See, you're like the woman in the park asked to leash her dog, who shrilled her vocal pitch, pressed cell phone to cheek, and called the cops. It's hard to tell if you're even in danger from anyone but yourself. It's raining. I've gone wishing and have to reel myself back. The problem with letting people like you in is that you keep coming and breaking me over and over. Boy, it's time you grew up and learned to speak for yourself. My thighs, thick as tree trunks, though black elm grows up all around me. You can't cut me off. This land is your land. This land is my land. But Dutch elm disease is everyone's sickness. To say I'm unhopeful doesn't mean I don't have hope. I would like to pass this torch, but I won't. See, your family, like the flat earther uncle, every day I stand at the estuary wondering if I should gently pitch in. I want to bait and feed you to my fish. I want to cry you a river of tears. I hate you. I love you so much I can barely stand. But I will, and so will you. And to think that this is only just the beginning. All right. Thank you.